welcome. My name is Kia and I'm coming to you from Sweden in a small village outside of Gothenburg. This is my channel here on YouTube where I share my crafty life. I'm a knitter, a spinner and a crafty person in general. I love to dive into different kinds of crafts. So if that's something that you would like to see more of, stick around because that's what we will see here. And on social medias, I'm also Ciasbod.podcast on Instagram, on Ravelry, and I have a website, Ciasbod.se. I will put up this video with links to everything I talk about today. So if there is something that you are wondering about, you can go over to my website and have a look. There will be a link under this video to my website. Yes, and on my website from January this year there will also be a pattern for a blanket. Because I have started a new knit-along here in Sweden and it's called Stickpoddstafetten. And that means that podcasters here in Sweden are designing a square for a blanket every month throughout this year, and it will continue. Because there has been so many podcasters signing up to do a square every month. So we will continue in next year as well. And I was the first to hold the stafett pinne, stafett stick. I was asking you in the previous episode and I don't remember what you said. But yes, stafett, I think you had the same word. I designed the first square for January and I showed it to you previous episode. This is knitted in 2-ply sport weight wool yarn, rustic wool yarn, no superwash. And I use 4mm needles for my square. But the pattern or the recipe for this square is on my website. And there is a little bottom, Google Translate bottom on my website, so you can translate into your language. And I did the mistake just taking a picture on my Instagram post and then just copying it to my on my website. But that doesn't work with the Google Translate, so some of you commented and now I have written the instructions in English as well, so it can be translated, because just a screenshot pasted into my website Google doesn't translate pictures. So thank you for commenting and reminding me of that, and of course any one of you can join in and knit this blanket as well. But yes, I started with this square as the first square, and it is a simple, like the cozy memory blanket square, but I did it in stripes, so it would be something different, and you can also use up small leftovers. So, as I was watching Instagram and people were starting to post their different kinds of squares, someone had done some calculations that there would have to be a lot of squares to make a blanket, not only 12 as in 12 months of this year. So they came up with the idea that we will have to make several of these squares every month. So I sat down and I did another square for this and it was so much fun, so I decided, why not? I can make more, I can make 3, and then I decided that I can make 4. So there will be 4 squares each month, and then perhaps I will make 2 in each blanket. Perhaps I will make 2 blankets, one for me and one for my husband, or I will make 4 squares every month for 1 year and then start a new blanket. I haven't decided, and I will not start to sew them together, because perhaps I won't have them next to each other. I took a picture, I can put it here. It looks quite funny when you have the 4 squares together with this in the middle. It looks like a big square. But we shall see how I will do it. Perhaps I will have these together and then the next together. It all depends on how will the blanket look. And nobody knows. That's the fun part in this. So the next month is the friends that I decided to start up this knit along with. So they will take the stick for the next month, and the 1st of February it will come on Instagram. So if you want to follow this, you can follow the hashtag stickpodstafetten. I will write it here. Or you can just follow me here and I will tell you about it, and I will also post the pattern on my website with the Google Translate, so anybody can join in and knit this blanket. It will be for a year at least, so it will continue. We have a lot of podcasts here in Sweden, so I guess it will just keep on living forever, this blanket, and it's such a good idea. And it is also something to join us podcasters here in Sweden, make a community and something to talk about, something to have in common. So it's a really nice idea, I think, and it will last forever. So it's nice, really, really nice. So that's the blanket and the knit along, and some of you have been with me since 2020 when I did the Free Sock 2020, and yeah, it feels like something similar, but in this case I am just letting the stick go now, and that's I said to my husband last night that I'm glad I didn't take the challenge to do all the squares myself, but letting the next person take over. Because designing 12 different squares, one each month, it can put some pressure on you. But now I have done the first square and I'm leaving it to the next person to do the next square and the next square. So all I do is to put it on my website, and that's just enough, I think. So that's the Stickpodstafetten, and you are all very welcome to join in and just follow the hashtag and have a look at my website for the patterns. Yes, I forgot to mention, I'm also on Patreon and on Ko-fi if you want to support my work with this channel. So there will be links under here, both to Ko-fi and to Patreon, if you want to support my work with this channel. And thank you so much for those of you who have decided to support me over on Patreon, and also for Ko-fi. I'm so grateful. If you hear something, that's Agnes on the floor snoring. Yeah, she is really tired all the time, so she sleeps really hard and she makes a lot of noises when she sleeps. So it's only Agnes. I'm not sure if you can see her. I don't think so. And Nemo is in the sofa here. Yes, I'm indoors in the house today, and I wanted to sit in front of my embroidery setup that I did. And yeah, we shall talk a little bit more about that later on. But today I am wearing my Fårö sweater, and that's one of my happy spring sweaters. I don't have a lot of pink garments, but for spring it feels lovely to have a pink happy sweater. I'm having spring feelings. Are you having spring feelings? I have been replanting my flowers indoors. I have got some fresh spring flowers, the small pots that you can buy and put indoors in the windows, just to get the nice springy feeling. And yeah, I know it's only January, and I always do this. I start up really early, and yeah, but it makes me happy, so I decided that I can do that. I can waste my money on small happy spring flowers because it makes me feel like spring is really near, even though it's not. Yes, so the Fore sweater, I had a knit along for the Fore sweater in, I think it was 2 years ago, because last year I did the Saga Cal, and the year before I did the Fore. And Fore is a garment that is designed by Yllotyll, a Swedish yarn company. And this time I have made the original Fore sweater, but this time I decided to make it, pimp it up a little bit. So I added the cables. This is according to pattern, the lace pattern. And I added the cables here, and I also added bubbles at the top of the lace arrows here. So that's something I did for making it a little bit extra. Since I had been knitting it one time before, it was fun to experiment a little bit with the second version. And the yarn is dyed by a Swedish indie dyer, Fru Valborg. And it's the base Gotland Blueface Leicester fingering, and I'm not sure if she is still dyeing on that base, but it's a lovely base with the Gotland and Blueface Leicester, really beautiful. So I'm happy for my my spring cardigan. Yeah, I know I will eat this up because it probably will be winter a lot of times before spring, but yeah. There is something in the air. I can feel the light is changing, and today it has been sunny, and I'm feeling spring is coming. So that's the blanket that I have been making 4 squares of, and what I'm wearing. I told you the previous episode that I was holding back. I was thinking so much about the things I wanted to cast on. And since it was December and I had decided that I will not cast on, I will finish off as many ongoing projects as I could. So I made the Make 9, and after recording the previous podcast, I just let all my things go, and I casted on a lot of things. So the first thing that I casted on afterwards, and I have also finished, is a pair of stripy socks. When I was visiting my friends up in Örebro, I went to a yarn store called Tina's, and they are selling Novita yarn, and I found a self-striping yarn. I paid a lot of money for the self-striping yarn I bought last year, but here I found Novita 7 Brothers Raita is the brand, and I will link to this in the links. And yes, it was self-striping, but I used Ciasbod Raggi, it's a DK sock yarn, as the contrasting colors here. And this is the self-striping part, the self-striping yarn. And when I had finished a pair, 2 socks, similar socks, this is what I had left over. And just for fun, I counted the stripes that was left here. So I could have made 3 more gray stripes. So 6 more stripes on each sock. But that would have made them quite long, and I'm not sure. This is the perfect length for me. But if you are getting your hands on this Novita 7 Brothers Raita, and the Raita I think is stripes in Finnish. So you can make your socks longer if you use the contrasting cuffs, heels and toes. So that's a pair that just flew off my needles. I used 3mm needles for this pair, and I casted on with 52 stitches here in the beginning. So that's the first pair that I have finished. And the second pair that is also done is the pair that I have been talking about, but I have never shown you. This has been the computer socks. The socks that I have had beside my computer, knitting on with lectures and as I'm editing the podcast. It's a lot of, not every time I have to do cuts and put in pictures and so on, so I can just lean back and listen through the podcast, so everything is okay. And then I pick up this pair of socks and knit on them. So they are now done, and they were supposed to be done for Christmas time because it's red and grey and yellow, and I think that's a little bit Christmassy. But that didn't happen, so I guess I will have this pair for next Christmas time. I'm planning perhaps to start a box of Christmas socks, because that would be fun to have for next year. And there is a lot of stripes going on at the moment here, so yeah, it's so addictive to knit stripes. I think just one more row and one more row, so that's really nice. So 2 pairs of socks have been finished since the last time I spoke to you. And I have also casted on for two garments actually. And the first garment is both of the garments are hand spun garments. And I was looking through my little stash of hand spun yarn, and I found this beautiful. They are, this is merino silk, and this is something else, but it's still very beautiful. It matches with this, really lovely. So I decided to cast on for a top-down yoke, circular yoke sweater this time. I usually do the raglan, but I thought that this time I will do just circular, and then yeah, I am doing about 10 rows and then 1 row of purl, so there will be some texture as well. So 10 knit rounds and 1 purl round. That's how I'm building up my sweater. And here in the ribbing in the top there is cables instead of just the normal ribbing, because I think it adds like a jewelry or something in the top. And I will also do it in the ribbings of the sleeves and at the end. So there is now just, it has been stockinette all along, but yeah, as I'm passing here I can relax and just knit. Doing some decreases on every 10th row, the section that I'm doing between the purl rounds, I am increasing with 2 stitches on each side, so it will be a little bit A-lined when it's done, but I'm also shaped a little bit A-lined, so I don't feel comfortable with a lot of, if it's tight around my belly, I want it to be a loose fit. This is good because it doesn't sit tight, so this will be nice, just a little bit A-lined shaped, and it will be fine. I have more in these similar colors, so if I run out I can just add, I think I will start to introduce some other, because it's not exactly the same, but some sort of similar. So perhaps I should start to introduce a third variation of this yellow-green type. So I'm making it up as I go, starting on 3mm needles. I think I did 110 stitches on 3mm needles, and then 3.5 on the body, and doing some increases on the yoke to make it fit. So that's just a relaxing knit. The second cast on I showed on Instagram the other day, and when I showed it on Instagram I still had hopes about this cardigan, that I could finish it perhaps, but This was something that I spun, I think 3 or 4 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago. And I bought the fibers from Hönor och Ejr here in Sweden, and I spun it up. Not this one. I think this is also from Hönor och Ejr, but it's not the same fiber content. But this is what I have left for the yoke, and it will not. I think I lost this yarn chicken because I have done the body. It will be really cropped since I have no yarn left. But the sleeves will be long sleeved. They will be fine, and it will be a cropped sweater. And yeah, I knitted this quite quickly because it was so much fun, and I have been longing to make this Maja cardigan by Helene Magnusson. It's a free pattern on Ciasbod's website and also on Ravelry. And even though, and since I spun the yarn, I have been wanting to knit this. It has been in my dreams to knit the Maja cardigan of these fibers, of this yarn, and I couldn't let go. I have had it in my mind for so long and wanting to do it, so I just I decided that if it doesn't work, at least I know it doesn't work. I have to try. So I did, and I think I lost. Because now it's all over colorwork yoke that is on the top here. I really should have like 10 centimeters more of the blue, but I'm out of the blue, so that won't happen. I can make perhaps 2-3 rounds more, but I think it's better if I start the colorwork now, because the blue is introduced. I still have the blue when I'm introducing the next section like this. So I think I will need what I have to start up this up here for the yoke. But this will not be enough for a full yoke, and this is all I have left for the bright, for the background of the yoke, and that will not be enough. I brought out this, and this will be the ribbing and the ribbing in the neckline and also the button bands. So that's something that I can relax. I have enough of that. But I don't think that I can manage a full yoke of this. So my thought was perhaps bring in a lighter color, because I have some handspun that is a little bit lighter than this. And I'm not sure if it will look strange or not. It's a beautiful, beautiful color combination, this. And if the background should be brighter on the yoke, would that matter? I'm not sure. Perhaps I could stripe the brighter one with this one, just to blend it down a little bit, so it will not be too bright. I'm not sure. I knitted this so quickly, and then when I realized I will not have enough yarn, I just lost interest in it and put it aside. But I really should finish it with the yarn that I have, so I can just see what it looks like in the end. I think it will be fine, but I would have loved to have to have this color also as a background in the yoke. That would have been the best. If you perhaps bought fibers from Hönor och Ejr in 2018 or 19 and you still haven't spun it and perhaps could consider to sell it to me, I would be happy to buy it, so I could spin it to finish up this cardigan. That would be lovely. But yes, the Maja cardigan by Helene Magnusson, not quite finished yet, and we shall see what I can do with it. Sorry, that's not a happy story. It would have been so lovely to have that, to make it work, but I'm not sure. I will have to introduce some more colors in that way. Okay, that is the things that I have finished and the things that I have started up since I talked to you the last time. I have a collection of postcards. You will not see them because they are blanking with the light, but there is a collection of postcards with the months. And it's Elsa Beskow is a Swedish children's author. And also the drawings are just beautiful for her children's stories. So there is, for each month, there is a picture from the children book. And yeah, I thought that would be a nice thing to have included in the podcast, since it's a Swedish author and the drawings are so beautiful. So this one is for January, and there will be a new one every month. And as for my granny, no, not granny stripe, what do you call this? Grandma squares. Do you call it that? Grandma squares. We call that in Sweden mormorsrutor, grandma squares. That is from my mother. And I think I have actually, perhaps I have crocheted 10 of these since the last time. I have put them in some kind of color order here, just to make sure that I don't always use this kind of red and pink as the outer color. That I am making just a mix of greens and blues and all the other colors, as well as the one that I'm using as the outside color. But yes, these are coming along. I am crocheting some squares every day, and yeah, having fun with them. And if you didn't watch my previous episode, this is plant dyed yarn that my mother did when in the 80s. She took a class in plant dyeing fibers or yarns, and she passed away many years ago, 25 years ago, and I inherited all her things, and including all the plant dyed fibers. So this is something that I'm planning now to do something of, and I'm keeping them in a wooden box with a glass top. It's beautiful. It looks really beautiful, just like this. But I want to finish, of course. We shall see what it will be in the end. I will have to see how many squares I can make with the yarn I have, and I also have other yarns I could fill in with, so we shall see. But I'm looking so much forward to seeing what this will look like in the end. So the crocheting is doing okay, but as you can see here, I also talked about embroidery, and embroider something every day. And today, half of January has passed, and this is my tablecloth that I have hanging here. And as you can see, I have done three circles in like 2 weeks. So it will not be something I do every day. At least I will not do a full circle every day. It didn't take as short time as I thought. It took much more than 15 minutes to fill in one of these circles, but that's totally fine. I will do it when I have the time and I just want to introduce the stitching in my life so I can sometime I will have the blanket done. And I have winded up a lot of my embroidery threads on this beautiful wooden, it's actually something that you hang your clothes with, but I thought they were beautiful and I just winded up the embroidery thread on these wooden cloth hangers, perhaps you call it that, and have them in this wooden box. It's really nice. And this is the bracelet that I used to draw the circles, so it's also in here, so I know what I used. So that's the threads as well. And as I was cleaning up a little bit and yeah, you know, you look through things and I found this. Have you been with me for a while? You know, I embroidered this. You can't really see it very well. I did this as something that I would have a book, a cover for a book in this. But then my husband, he did these wooden bobbins for me, and I wired up some embroidery threads on them, and there is two, one on each side here, and they fitted perfectly in this. So the thing that was supposed to be a book cover didn't end up as a book cover. It is holding some of my embroidery threads in here, so that's really nice. And yeah, this is the free stitching that I love. It's not yeah, it's not perfect in any way. It's just having fun stitching and practicing. So it's really, really nice just doing that. And also my needle letter here is among the things. And I can show you this, since I'm talking about free stitching. Do you remember this embroidery diary that I did in April 2020? I sewed together small pieces of these white patches, and it is 30 or 31, I'm not sure, it was for April, and I embroidered something every day as a little memory of what happened that day. And now I made it into a pillow with a blue linen back. So it's really, really nice. And this is also on my website. There is Stitch diary in April, I think. If you have a look on my website, and you can see all the small squares, all the things I embroidered every day in April. It was so much fun. So this is supposed to be something like that, but it is not the pressure of coming up with something new, just filling in circles. You don't have to think about special things, but there was special things happening in April. It's such a good month if you want to do it, because I was planting flowers, I was putting out the laundry for the first time, hanging the laundry, and yeah, it's a good month because spring is coming and you are preparing your garden. And yeah, sometimes it was rainy and I was sitting indoors, and yeah, it was fun. Embroidery is so relaxing and fun. So that's also something that I'm doing. And the next pair of socks that I will cast on When I visited Örebro with my friend and we visited that yarn store, I also bought this tweed yarn. So these are not actually colors, but four colors of tweed yarn. I will do some mix and match and do socks of these. So this is what I will be casting on next, sock-wise. And yeah, the brand is Durable Socks Tweed. I will link in the links. But I'm looking forward to this. Perhaps the toes in one color and the leg in one and the heel in one, and you can mix and match with 4 colors. That can be really fun. Because I have no socks on the needles right now, and I really love to have socks on the needles. There is a lot of people running here back and forward. Now my son came to visit. But yes, something that I will cast on tonight is some leg warmers for my granddaughter. She is 3 years and she doesn't like to have socks. So I thought that perhaps I can make, the yoga socks where you don't knit the heel and you don't knit the toe. And perhaps she will like that, because I think it has to do with not wanting to glide on the floors. So if she has the toes and the heels free, then she will be a little bit warmer on the feet and on the legs. So that I will cast on tonight, and I will knit those first before I cast on socks for me, because they are the same, just small things that you can sit and knit all the time. And the last time that I saw her, that she came here, she had a new dress and she was like a princess. It was pink and it had, like a cartoon series on the front and a big tulle skirt. And she was so proud. And I will be knitting matching leg warmers for that dress, so it will be nice, I think. So that's the future plans, and I will also continue to knit on my 2 sweaters and hoping to find something so I can finish off that Maya cardigan. It would be really nice. Oh, it makes me so sad that I didn't have enough of that yarn, the lightest color, so I could use it as a background. I will figure something out, I always do, but it sort of brought me down a little bit that I couldn't, just knit and finish it. It would have been nice. And the last thing that I want to show you, I am joining in Emma, the Garnbyrån, in her fiber club this first 3 months of the year, and it's the woodland creatures, you can call it. It's not creatures, but we have elves and fairies living in the woods, and it's like folklore stories here in Sweden. So the theme of this is like fairies of the forest or something. It sounded just like me, and this is the first color, and it's looking really, really lovely with this burgundy and golden and green, and yeah, it looks really nice. So I can't wait to start spinning this. But right now I am spinning on my Icelandic wool, and I had a long break, but I have started my new work, and it's long hours and it's full time. I didn't work full time at my previous work, so now I work a lot, and when I come home it's so relaxing to spin. I'm having a little bit, it's hard to keep focus on bigger projects, I think, when I knit back and forward just small amounts. So spinning is the perfect. So when I have had 3 days, I have been spinning now. So the grey is almost all spun up. I did 600 grams of the grey, and then I have, I think, 100 of the brown and 100 of the white. So the grey is almost finished, and I will start with the brown and the white, and then I can cast on for an Icelandic sweater in my own hand-spun Icelandic yarn. That will be fantastic. But after that I will start to spin this. And when I sit down and spin, I do a lot of spinning at the same time. It's just that I have to do it, you know, just start. That's the longest, preparing for doing something takes much longer than actually doing it. So, longing for starting this one, and the content in this was Shetland, silk and tencel, so it's a beautiful combination here. And this is, I think, the tencel that's shining like this. It doesn't take the color, so it shines like that. Really beautiful. Looking forward to spinning it and see what it will look like. Really nice. So that's the crafty content for this week, or for this month, perhaps we should say, because I don't think there will be more in January. We are halfway through January, and as I see it right now, there will be no more in January. So the next time I see you, it's February, and we shall see how far I am on the things that I have on the needles right now. I hope to have finished my cardigan in some way. Let's see what I will figure out to do this. Let's see. It will be exciting for us to see the next episode, if it's done or not. Okay, have a lovely time, and I hope that you are also feeling the spring in the air, and perhaps you are longing for spring as much as I do. It's a fantastic feeling when the winter is leaving and spring is coming. Until then, please, if you haven't subscribed or like or something, do so. And I will see you again really soon. Bye bye!